Okay, so on the sides, we're going to use these shapes, and I'm going to show you how to do it over here. So in that time period, they used a lot of S shapes in their compositions. Now this is an S shape, but it's a very, very, very long, narrow S shape, okay? And so then I'm going to go just down below, and I'm going to intersect these, and I'm making another S shape. Okay, so an S shape can vary. It doesn't have to look like what we consider an S shape. And then I'm going to make another S shape, and it's going to go from this direction. I'm making sure that there's a little bit of space between my branches and my sides here so that I can put little tiny flower heads on there. Okay, so do you see what I'm doing there? Now I'm going to go back through, and I'm going to get rid of all of those corners again. And I'm going to thicken up these branches a little bit. I'm not going to make them super thick, but I'm going to give them some heft. And these shapes that you end up getting in between here really kind of represent that Art Nouveau period. So that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So it's like looking for shapes that you would find in nature. And nature isn't very perfect, not like what, you know, we like to see things. And so it's a good reminder just to let go of that. Your work will actually look more perfect if you stop trying to make it perfect. Okay, so do you see what I did there? And I'm going to go in here and there and just kind of clean up different lines. And I'm okay with it being wider here than it is at the top. I'm going to do the same over here with these lines. So I'm just drawing over my lines, and when I get to these corners, I'm just kind of getting rid of them. The Art Nouveau period kind of got popular in the 70s too, so a lot of times if I do a painting that has a lot of Art Nouveau themes, I get people who say, oh, it reminds me of the 70s, which is fine. I love the 70s. That's when I was born, and you know, I mean, I hated it as a teenager, but now I find myself, my husband and I collect vinyl records, and we love furniture that's mid-century modern, not so much the 70s per se, more the 60s, but we just love that era, so I'm fine with it looking kind of 70s, but I just think it's funny because people think they know, but really it came from the Art Nouveau period. It just had a rebirth in the 70s. Okay, so then I'm going to just put some little flower heads on top of that. So these are going to be like kind of like tulip heads, I guess. And I'm just going to fill them in. So I guess if you think about it as like a backwards D, that would be a good way of thinking about it. I think about art and I think about, you know, people say they can't be artists, and I think, well, you learned how to write, and really art, you know, drawing is a lot of writing. I'm a horrible handwriter though, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to do the same here. I wish I had better handwriting. I look at those 1920s, early 1900s letters, and I just want to cry because I love them so much, and I wish I could write like that. But of course that took a lot of practice, and that was a different era. Okay, so there you go. Now you have your sides. Let's look at it. So now from here, if you are a doodler, you are welcome to go in and do any kind of other fun details in this. One of the things a lot of times I like to do is I'll make a little archway on the corners if I want to, on certain sides, just to fill it in. You know, I might go ahead and make these into flowers. Like that. So you can keep it as simple or as complicated as you want. I know some of you are a little more skilled as well, and so simplicity is something that you don't necessarily want. Some of you enjoy the simplicity of it. So this is your painting, and you should make it represent your personality. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna draw a butterfly today, and I just want you to think about what a butterfly represents and what it might represent to you. And I'll just share a little bit about what the butterfly represents to me, which is at this point, it's, you know, it means that I'm morphing. I can't even remember what that word is. So a butterfly is like a metamorphosis, right? Like a butterfly goes from a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly, and I think that that's the same with our lives. We start out as cute little creatures, but we aren't flying, and as we grow and as we go through hard things, we slowly change into a colorful, beautiful creature. And I hope that's what's happening with me now, as I go through these hard things, and as I, you know, am in this state of a cocoon almost. I hope that the beauty comes out of the ashes, and that I choose to use this time in my life as a time to grow. Okay, so a butterfly starts out kind of like those hills that we talked about. So we're gonna start off, we're gonna touch the edge, because remember, we're not getting away from the edge. We're connected to everything, and we're down about maybe a half an inch from the edge. So you could even make a little line there and then a little line there, so that you know that that's where you want to end up. And I'd even do like just a line like this, and then measure it. So this is 4 inches, so halfway between 4 inches is the 2-inch mark. And I would even just draw a line down here to maybe just 1/4 of an inch up, just to give yourself, and I'm just eyeballing this, it's not exact, but just to give yourself a little bit more leeway. Okay, so the butterfly's wing is going to come up like a hill, okay, just like on the sides, and we're not going to go past that line and then up. Okay, so you have kind of a V symbol here in the center. We're going to do a little circle, like a rectangle circle. Oh man. Anyway, kind of an oval here. And then and then we're going to go down like that, okay? So we have these little wings now, and then we're going to go probably another 1/4 inch on each side, and we're going to take it down, and then we're going to square it right here, okay? So we're going to take it down, and I think I will give you a PDF of this just because it might, for some it might be more complicated. I do recommend trying to do it on your own because I think the drawing skills are important. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and go down and around, okay? And then down and around. Got it? So mine is not perfectly even, obviously, and I'm okay with that because I'm not perfectly even. So I'm perfectly fine with that. But I know for some of you, it would be important to make sure that that's right. So you do what feels best to you. And so I'm going to just get rid of some of these extra lines that I painted in. We are going over this with acrylic paint, so you could paint over those as well. My intention was to bring that all the way down to that last line, and I didn't, so you can make that decision too if you want to. I think I might want to square this out a little bit and add another dimension to that. And that's perfectly fine too. So you just have to decide what you want to do with that. Okay, so through the center here, we have these little rounded lines that on the butterfly's body that kind of represent that she's rounded. So they're not perfectly straight stripes, they're rounded. So you can go ahead and put those in. The patterns in her wings are really up to you. So you could do them really fun like we did in our bird. So you can go crazy with these wings with doodles and all kinds of things. Or you could do them like a standard wing. Now a standard wing would have, you know, maybe a thing like this that comes down, and then just have some lines that go towards this area. Like that. And this is kind of that S, that long S shape. So that matches your, and they're not, for me, this is not going to be the same on both sides. For you, it might be. I mean, this is just up to you. Down here, I think I'll do like a circle like this, or whatever you call that, like a teardrop shape. And then I'm just doing lines. Now I'm going to go back in with my pen again and do the same thing as I did with that other part. I'm going to get rid of all the hard corners. You may want to do that, you may not want to do that. So that's just up to you. But I like that look, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I went ahead and drew over all of the lines, and then I filled in every other line in the body, and then I connected the top with these lines with the antenna because remember we want it all to be connected. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here and make a little paisley symbol just to connect this bottom here because I want it to all be connected. Okay, so I think that's the end of what I'm going to draw on this painting, but you can go crazy, and then I'm going to go ahead and with the painting next. So I'll see you soon.